Hello, Rick Komarek, Certified Financial Planner. I wanted to share with you this chart called the worst days, months, and 3 months for the S&P 500 since 1950. So if we look at the 15 worst days since 1950, we can see here that 3 of them just occurred in March, and those are highlighted in yellow. So you can see March 16th, March 12th, and March 9th were all in the top 15 as far as worst days. Of course, the worst day whatsoever was October of '87. However, March, like I said, posted 3 worst days. The average worst day was 8.9%, and the average return 1 year later was 24.1% to the positive. I think it's also interesting to highlight the fact that 1 year later, in every instance after a worst day, the return was positive, except for one time here in 2008, it was a negative 4.1. All right, let's expand our time horizon a little bit and take a look at the worst months. Well, March last month just posted as one of the worst months. It ends up here at number 4. The worst month, again, was October '87. Then you had '08 and '98, which were worse. However, March of last month was in the top 4 here at a negative 12.4%. The average worst month since the 50s was a negative 11.4. So last month was a little bit worse than average in terms of the worst months. However, once again, 1 year later, the average return is 20.5%. Of course, there's no guarantee that the average return will be positive 1 year later. However, in every instance, except for 1, 2, 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, in every instance except for 3 times, the return was in fact positive with an average return 20.5. All right, finally, we're going to stretch out our time horizon now to a 3-month period and take a look at what were the worst 3 months. Well, '08, '87, '74, those 3 all had the worst 3-month periods. If we look down here to last month, March 2020, the 3 months ending March 2020, it ranked as one of the top 15 worst 3 months. However, the return here was a negative 19.6. The average return for the worst 3 months is 20.8. So this last 3 months, although it was hard and bad for sure, it wasn't as bad as the average 3-month period, which was negative 20.8. What was the return 1 year later after one of these worst 3 months periods? Well, the average return was a positive 23%. And once again, in every instance, except for one time, September of '01, was a negative return 1 year later. However, every other time, the return was positive 1 year later. Is there any guarantee that the returns will be positive a year from now, a year after this 3-month period that we just went through? Of course not. There's absolutely no guarantee for that. I'm just showing you the data, showing you this interesting information here on the worst days, months, and 3-month periods, and then what were the returns like in those cases 1 year later. Yeah, any questions, pardon me, about your investments, your retirement, feel free to reach out to me anytime.